Hey everybody, so Audie here. I was asking you about what you love to do and look forward to over the holidays. And one of the things that I really enjoy is getting to meet this man that we started several Christmases ago to enjoy that.
Drew Eason.
Hey everybody.
Hey. So Drew, tell me, what do you love to do over Christmas? And tell me a little bit about yourself. First of all, tell me what you do.
Sure.
And who do you help?
Yes. My name is Drew Eason. I'm the Executive Director of the Florida Dental Association. Been with the FDA for about 10 years. Was with the Michigan Dental Association prior to that for 17 years. So I have been working with dentists for quite a while. Our mission statement is help members succeed, and that's really that's my day-to-day. What can I do to help our dentists succeed, whatever they're pursuing, whether it's private practice, philanthropic effort, anything that we can do to help a dentist. That's kind of what we do. In the holidays, this is a different one for us. My wife and I are home alone this Christmas. Our kids are both married, and we had them for Thanksgiving, and their families get them for Christmas. But we're looking forward to some time alone. You know, it's almost like thinking about what we loved about this previous year and what we want to do differently. We're going to clean closets, clean our minds, organize and plan. I'm actually looking forward to just a very relaxing, quiet time at home. And I'm actually going to work the week between Christmas and New Year's, so don't normally do that.
Yeah. Are there any special traditions that you guys do? I know you said about Thanksgiving for getting everybody together, but now this is a little bit different. Is there something that's really kind of fun or odd that you guys like to do, you and Joanne?
I wish, when we have everybody here, a big thing my wife likes to do is make borscht.
Okay.
A Polish version of borscht. We did that at Thanksgiving. Now we'll go to movies, that kind of thing. And if the weather cooperates, my wife can never have enough fires. Fire pit in the backyard, so if the weather's good, we'll sit around and have a fire, do that kind of thing. Nothing too crazy.
I love it. So we talk about dental work-life balance and what that looks like. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that you see with dentists, like currently now? What's going on in their lives that are maybe disrupting dental work-life balance? What are some of the biggest challenges for dentists right now?
It probably all depends on what age or what career stage you're talking about. I have a son who's a pretty new dentist. He's a Navy dentist. He's loving it right now. In fact, I think his schedule is pretty relaxed. He's up north with his wife for a week, and I'm like, how do you get off work so much? So he's loving the Navy thing right now, and we'll see what it's like when he gets out in a few years. The other work-life balance issues, it's all over the place because there are so many different practice modalities. You might have one dentist who is running her practice solo, and she might have a couple of kids and a spouse, and all these issues pulling at the same time can be a big challenge. And it's interesting. Sometimes we'll find dentists like that who are also very involved in organized dentistry. So they have a private practice, they have a young family, and they're volunteering on top of it. Sometimes I think we tend to grab onto those people and get them to say yes to a whole bunch of other things as well, and maybe they bite off more than they can chew sometimes. Or you might have somebody who's near the end of their career and trying to kind of back off a little bit. And the scenarios are infinite. There's so many issues out there. I don't even know that I can put my finger on one thing on work-life balance because it's so unique to that person and their particular situation.
And you make a good point, because it really is kind of a season of life that we all go through different transitions. So it's really custom to that individual. So that's a great point. Well, how about you? How do you stay in a level of work-life balance? I get to see your Facebook posts and things, and you're doing good things, and you're showing you're modeling it for others. I love that.
Well, I think I'm fortunate that I love what I do so much that sometimes if I put in a couple of really long work weeks where I'm doing evening meetings and all of those kinds of things, I can get tired by the end of the week, but I'm enjoying myself. It's not like it's a drudgery for me. I'm actually, my work life and my personal life are very interconnected. Even with my wife, she'll go to meetings with me and participate. She's friends with a lot of the dentists and leaders I work with and those kinds of things. So, but I do try to work out at least 3 or 4 times a week, and I do it very early in the morning. I hit the gym by 5. When I'm at the gym, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about issues for dentistry or personal stuff. It's all about getting the workout done. And the best feeling is when I'm walking out of the gym. That's what I have to kind of focus on. So I think that's a big part of it. And I like to get a massage. I'll do that once or twice a month. Certain things that are just good for your soul to just kind of disconnect completely. Those are the kinds of things that I'll do.
I love that. What I see, and I don't know if this is true, but I feel like it has to have something to do with your leadership, but there's so many people that are ADA presidents coming out of Florida. And so whenever I talk about you being such a great leader, I feel like you empower others to be the best that they can be. And obviously there's a lot of great people that are in your community within the Florida Dental Association. But what do you attribute that to? Like, trustees they're on, ADA presidents coming from Florida. What is it that makes them want to give back and to make a difference? What do you think that is?
I would love to take credit for a lot of that stuff, but I can't. I think we have a really strong leadership bench in Florida. Dr. Cesar Sabatez, was the first person to become president from Florida. We have another person, Dr. Rudy Lidell, who's running now for the president-elect position. A lot of councils at the ADA have a lot of our dentists, Florida dentists, as the chairs of the councils. Just a very strong leadership base, and they. I don't even know what to attribute it to specifically, but there's a strong desire from so many dentists in Florida to give back and to be a leader and to be a part of it. So you won't see as many of them sitting on the sidelines and pointing fingers at what's happening or not happening. They'll get up and participate and be involved and learn the issues. So I'm lucky in that regard, and whatever I can do to make that environment continue, easier to be involved, I'm going to do my best.
That's awesome. Well, a lot of people are asking in their minds, maybe some of the people that are out there now, why should I be part of organized dentistry? Why does that make a difference? Or why would somebody want to do that? Why would they invest in doing that and take the time?
Right. And, I think we could have a nice hour and a half, 2 hour conversation. I would love to sit around with a group of people and have this discussion. Organized dentistry is important in so many ways, and this is true of every profession. And I'll just focus on what often is listed as the number one benefit of membership is advocacy. And so when we look at the legislature, either Congress or in your states, the people who run for Congress, the people who are running for the House of Representatives or Senate in Florida, for example, they're normal people. They're people like you and I. And they don't know dentistry like you all know dentistry. They don't have a clue in a lot of cases. If it weren't for organized dentistry and the leaders who take the time to come to Tallahassee to meet with legislators and talk to them about issues, whether it's fluoride, Medicaid reimbursement, the issues go on and on, they wouldn't know. They would be taking their lead from maybe people who have nefarious ideas about what should happen. As a dentist out there, what you're doing to educate your patients. That's the same with the legislature. So if it wasn't for organized dentistry and leaders going to the Capitol and educating them, who knows what your profession would be like? And who would be doing what you are doing? Scope of practice issues are all the time being discussed at the Capitol. And if it wasn't for your professional staff and the leaders to go there and educate legislators, I think the profession would look much different. So I think organized dentistry needs to be strong. They need to have the majority voice of the dentist. And as a collective, you're going to be much more impactful than not.
Right.
It's not always what we pass. It's what we stop from happening in the first place that I think is so important. And we try to communicate that as often as we can. And I'm open to any ideas that people have, because we'll do emails, newsletters, our magazine, and yet still a lot of members don't realize all of the things that are happening. So we're trying to get the message out as best we can.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything that you would, from your heart, care to share with dentists during the holiday season right now? Anything that is top of mind for the new year, 2024? I mean, just kind of as a last kind of closing comment, something that would be important from your perspective. Sure.
I would say, my logo, my motto, if you will, has been relentless positive action. That's been, we use that at the office. Leaders use it all the time. I think dentistry's going through some tough times. Always something happening, right? We have a change in how the profession is looking. There are a lot more dental service organizations than there used to be, sort of a different practice model. The media always is looking at dentistry in not always favorable ways, and we're always working to kind of counter that. There's financial pressures. There's so many things going on. There's still so much positive about the profession. I mean, I wouldn't have encouraged my son to continue his desire to be a dentist if I didn't believe that. He loves what he's doing. I think if you look at it again through young eyes, the profession has a lot to offer. So I would say start looking at things from that perspective. Being positive and proactive doesn't mean you're soft or not hard on the issues. Just that being angry and negative doesn't help things. It just makes it worse. So sometimes some people can mistake my easygoing or my more positive attitude as being weak, and that would be a mistake. That's part of the truth. I think that you need to be positive, and that's why our logo is Relentless Positive Action. I even brought you one, Audie. We have bracelets to say it.
Nice.
Positive action right on there.
That's awesome.
One of our past presidents used to and still does sign her letters RPA instead of sincerely with RPA.
I appreciate
positive
that.
action. So I just think the positivity is important.
I think that's so cool. I love it because, we talked a little bit about that before. It's back behind.
Kind of rolled up.
There you go. Nice. Awesome. We talked about that, how easy it is, from the perspective of being on the sidelines. And we can always pull apart things. It's easy to be an armchair quarterback, right? God, we should have done that, or why didn't you do this, or, this isn't happening, you're not taking care of my needs. But to really get in the fight, to be on the field and be in battle is a different story. And so...
Well, and we were talking about this earlier, and I think social media I love social media, we're doing it right now. But it has this negative side too, where somebody can sit and just say some really awful things. I see that all the time about lots of groups. And then, or if we have somebody who is really negative about the ADA or the FDA or the local society, and they're not a member, and they're saying, how come the FDA didn't do this or that? But they're not. It's like you just said. It's very easy to sit on the side and watch all the other volunteers working very hard. I mean, leaving their practice, coming to Tallahassee, working on missions of mercy, all those kinds of things, to sit there and poke holes at that, but then you yourself aren't doing anything, it really kind of rings shallow. So I would say that really think twice about what you put on social media and focus on the more positive side.
I love that. And also, some of those conversations that, you're kind of behind the scenes, and you and I wouldn't have a conversation or say anything like that if you're sitting face to face.
Right.
But
on social media, people go, I'll just tell you, I know they're not watching this. My parents are the worst at that. They can write some pretty mean things about another political party that's opposite of theirs. And I'm like, they would never say that in public. And so if you wouldn't say it face to face, I wouldn't even put it on social media.
Well said.
Yeah,
well said. And that's part of why I think relationship, I talked about what's my priority over Christmas, and I really realized that it's about intimate relationship. It's about deeper relationship. It's about having these conversations that we're having now and allowing other people to share in with it using social media, but it's still us getting together. And that's why it's so vital, like you talked about, having a virtual office or whatever. It just doesn't work. It doesn't build, the culture. It doesn't build that. The same things with the dental, practice meetings, whenever they get together for the meetings or the conferences or whatever, getting together, there's things that happen that you can't do virtually, right?
What we're doing right now is so important, and it's a role model thing that I have to think about. My wife's really good at this too. She has meetings out of town. She doesn't waste any time, so she'll get there early and she'll have breakfast with the client that she wasn't going there to meet. She'll just call up and say, hey, you want to meet for breakfast, like we're doing?
Yeah.
Or she'll meet somebody for lunch, or she'll go to somebody's office. And I've had a tendency, if I've gotten into another city, let's say I'm going to Tampa, and I'm there 6 hours early, I'll just hang out in the hotel room or whatever. And I'm trying to think, my goals for 2024 is that if I have the opportunity, I'm going to pick up the phone and meet somebody, because it's a wasted opportunity.
Absolutely.
And relationships are so important.
It is. And actually, and I saw this with my dad as an orthodontist. He was, very much an introvert. I think a lot of people, that personality type, it's drawn to because there's a perfectionist tendency. And I want the dentist that's working on my teeth or specialist to be a perfectionist. That's right. That quarter of an inch gap is not what I really want. But I know Mom had to encourage him. He had to have an outside influence to go out and have lunch. That's why he got into Rotary Club. That's why he started meeting with others. That's how he got out in the community and developed his practice to be able to, stimulate that. But otherwise, his desire, and I remember seeing him do it daily, he would come back and get, a soup and a sandwich and stick his feet up and lay, and rest for a little bit.
And not do any interaction.
not interacting. You know, it's and so we have to push ourselves out of our comfort zones. I know you're doing it now for me to have inside of a breakfast place to have this in front of me, but I really appreciate that because I think it models for people what you can do in relationship. It's not the how, it's the who. You know, who can be a part of your community, your tribe, to be able to make a difference. And I love that you practice that.
And so many people, so many dentists I talk to who are in organized dentistry, that's one of the reasons they're in it. It's the local dental society meetings, it's the dinner meetings, it's the social events, and having people to call on when something goes wrong. We have a lot of situations where maybe a dentist gets in an accident and they're going to need to take 6 weeks off. A lot of our local dental societies will get a bunch of dentists to all agree to volunteer certain days of the week to help keep the practice going.
Absolutely.
And they do it because they care about each other and they know each other. So you don't have to go it alone. That's what organized dentistry is for.
That's absolutely what happened with my dad. You know, at 62, he had a heart attack. And we were able, I was only in college, but my mother and my brother had friends of my dad's that came up and kept the practice going. They were able to sell it to 2 different orthodontists and thankfully took care of my mom. You know, otherwise it would have been worth nothing. You know, patients would have just disappeared and
practice isn't worth anything.
That's right. And my mom would not do well working at some position because she's, so I love the field, the community aspect. I know it's not a tendency that an introvert would want to do, but maybe pushing yourself to do that. Yeah, and inviting them to come. And what I'm hearing is, give it another shot. Look at organized dentistry from a different lens and don't say, I did that. Come back.
Yeah. Again, things change. And you make more of a difference when you're present than when you're sitting on the sidelines and poking holes.
Well said. Well said.
Big piece of it. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it very much.
Welcome to Tallahassee.
Yeah. Thanks, Drew.
I wish it was, being from Michigan, I'm not loving the 49 or 50 degree weather out here right now.
Exactly. And in the restaurant, it feels like it's about 49 or 59.
It really does.
Get us out.
It's chilly.
We love you guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Everybody. Y'all take care. Hope you have a great holidays.